Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel with a dog that's constipated in front of me. Isn't that a pretty sight for any of my YouTube viewers here? There's just no secrets here, is there? Secrets, right? Other secrets? Do we have secrets? I don't know. I tell you what, wow. The wind is still here. It's cold. Hey, Sony's feeling a lot better. No, they're not. Yeah, we got a constipated dog right here. Channel for any new subscribers or anybody watching my channel. And what the heck are we doing today in this cold, it's windless, windy less, or whatever you want to say. Wow, just so. Actually, one of my trees way back there went down the property, and it came from my neighbor's property and took out my fence. Whose problem is that? So is my neighbor's house is way over there. Yeah, so you can maybe see the top of the house there. So their tree fell on my property and took out my fence. Who pays for that? Right? Whose argument is that? Yeah. Come on, girl. So here's the truck. Oh, she's still charging. Wow. Wow, skr. I plugged this truck in yesterday like at 4:30, 5 o'clock. No lie. Wow. Still charging. It's 8 o'clock. So how many hours is that? Yeah. The cold weather too, so it's really cold. And this thing yesterday, I went 180 miles yesterday, and I had like 60 miles left. Even that, it was as cold as it is up here right now, and the wind and everything else. Then running the heated seat and the heat, the truck. I would say it's a 330 mile range on a good day. I would say that truck maybe have gone maybe 200 miles. Yeah, I would say 100 mile plus less energy. How do we get up there? Dogs, can I? All right, let's get going here. Come on. Busy day. Got to get things in order here. If we're up here, be cold. And come on, get on the way. Jesus Christ, dog will kill you. Dogs will kill you. Yeah, so anyways, let's get the freaking heat going. I'll be using my John Deere tractor for long. Hard to believe that it'll be, how do you get the pictures of all the glare, right? Of my cars. There's my CUDA. I think my CUDA looked pretty badass, personally. Yeah, so what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. I usually try to keep the theme of the state of times with the car market and everything else. And I just have so many different conversations that it's hard to keep track for me of even what I talk about, because I just talk a lot. Man, it's cold. Brr! I mean, it's cold. It's it's just, woo, it's winter. We didn't have a winter here. So, anyways, yeah, so what's the, right now, it's all about the banks. Are we getting ready to see the cleansing of the economic times? I mean, are we getting ready to see the cleansing effect? And I just thought to myself, the cleansing effect, the cleaning effect, the, where we are in today's society, where things just, it seems more than ever that, everything has to be so right and perfect and apologetic, or is that really so? I don't know. I mean, I'm just starting to think, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I just think to myself this morning, pretty incredible on how I came from the oil industry. I mean, I'm still part of the oil industry. But if you go back to the 80s, I went from out of high school going to the auto parts industry, then going to the actual job or fuel distribution industry of delivering fuel, motor fuels, the gas, the diesel, the kerosene, heating oil. And so I went in that industry from 85 to 92, and I really saw the cleansing of that industry, meaning that industry there, the Environmental Protection Agency became much more aggressive towards underground fuel storage. So just a little kind of background of where this country's gone over the many years is back in the prior to the like the 90s, people had fuel tank storage just everywhere, everywhere. And it was just total lackadaisical attitudes of fuel spills. And the list goes on and on and on about how where I live here, there's a development called Mantua in Fairfax City, Virginia, where Texaco used to have, well, they still do. They have their tank farm. They're big oil tanks, and they're with other big major companies as well back in the day. And those fuel tanks, these are the big, fuel tanks you see that these oil refineries and oil farms have to store all the fuel for distribution of each area of cities and states that you live in. And that whole complex was literally, leaking fuel into the water system of this Mantua development of residential homes. Yeah, it was a major lawsuit, major cleanup, so over the years, just the constant finding underground fuel tanks, like at a gas station or somebody's business, the tanks would start leaking into the groundwater. So it was contamination. So over the years, the Environmental Protection Agency had to ramp up the guidelines, and they really did a whole cleansing of the fuel industry, which I witnessed that back in the early 90s before I got out of the business. We're like in D.C., LaFont Plaza, if anybody knows the Northwest D.C., Southwest D.C., down near the Fisher's Market, the water, the LaFont Plaza, Mr. LaFont, that designed that whole D.C. area, I guess, in some aspects. I used to go down there and deliver fuel to these big underground fuel storage tanks for the heating for the commercial buildings down there and apartments. So these guys would have 10, 20,000 gallon, 30,000 gallon fuel tanks. Well, with all the new stringent guidelines, all these underground fuel tanks had to be yanked out of the ground and updated with new technology fuel tanks that wouldn't leak, and designed with different material, and then you had to re-engineer how they were set in the ground. Very elaborate, very, very expensive. So in the early 90s through the mid-90s, the cleansing of removing underground fuel tanks was huge, huge. So a lot of commercial properties got away from underground fuel storage. And what they did is actually they created above ground fuel storage. A lot of these data centers that I drive around and show you guys pictures of these data centers, they have all these big diesel generators. And a lot of these diesel generators have these huge above ground fuel tanks next to them so they can see what's going off the fuel. First, when it's underground, you can't see what's going on, but there's leak detection. It's massive. So in the industry that I was in, I saw the cleansing of this country trying to clean up the oil spills and contamination from the fossil fuels. And it had a huge impact on the business and industry that I was in, because in the good old days, I had customers that had their own fuel storage. So you'd have a plumbing company or electrical supply company, a construction company, whatever it may be. They would have their on-site fueling for their equipment and their trucks and whatsoever. And so we had lots and lots of customers where we went and we filled up their on-site fueling for them. But over time, the Environmental Protection Agency started cracking down on above ground fuel storage, underground fuel storage, and a lot of these companies didn't want anything to do it anymore. They got out of it, and then that transitioned to them just going back to the gas station and so forth, so on. And for the industry that I was in, I saw a declining customer base. And I had a good friend of mine where he saw his income was really getting hit pretty big, and he was getting all freaked out and worried. So he was looking for another opportunity in life to do something else. So, I mean, who isn't? If you work for a regular company and you're making just, money, but you want to make even more money, you're always looking, how can I make more money? How can I, that's just who we are. What else can I do in my life to make a living or do side money or just something to supplement my income? That's just how we are. I mean, I think a lot of people are like that. Unless you're just certain individuals that inherited wealth or whatever, which I don't think that's the majority of people watch my channel. So I don't qualify for that level of people, do I? So anyways, so what happened in that was a good friend of mine, the Amway, the network marketing. I've talked about it before. I got into the watcherless car wash business. And if you hear my car wash, people kind of make fun of my way I say it. Well, I lived all over the country, and I guess I got a little bit of Jersey accent in me because I lived in Jersey 3 different times growing up. So I got involved with a company called Envirotech International. And I've talked about this numerous times, I think, throughout my discussions, but I got fixated on the water challenges. The challenge that there's a future for the contamination of water and to have cleaner water and to have more water. So I got in 1992 involved in a company that I was selling a waterless car wash, where it's a liquid product, but very minimal amount of product you spray in the car. It's just like the spray on wax today. Same concept, but this product was designed to spray on a car that's dirty, and you could wipe it on, wipe it off, and in so many ways you just wash the car and you wax the car all in 2 steps, basically. Really nice product. And so I was on the page of, hey, I'm going to be part of helping save water. So that was the real mission of the company, Envirotech International, was for their product was going to help save the world on the water challenges. Because back 30 years ago, you were hearing the dire straits of the water being gone in so many parts of the world, of fresh drinking water, and the list goes on. And yeah, everybody knows that, the West Coast, they always have these challenges. The Colorado River, the Lake of Ozarks, it's another lake out there. These things are just drying up left and right. So, but now in California, you got to scratch your head because they're getting so much water, so much snow. They're ready to be underwater. So it's just we live in a world like Mother Nature. Us as people are the exact same way. It's like it's one extreme to the other extreme. It goes from the worst drought in the record of mankind to the worst, rains and hurricanes and tropical storms. It just seems to be like that's how the pendulum swings, if you know what I mean. So, well, what does it have to do with all the cars? Well, I'm just trying to radiate to you that back for me now, 31 years ago, 1992, I got involved in that company, and I did it for quite a while, but I did it full time for about a year and a half, barely a year and a half, not even a year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half, I guess, before I raised my hand and realized I couldn't really make a real living out of selling a snake oil, basically. That's how you kind of ends up looking like once you try to sell it to people and la, la, la. So I look at where we are today and the cleansing effect. What's going on right now? Back in the 90s, the cleansing effect was removing fuel tanks that are contaminating water, rightfully so, and contaminating soils, and the list goes on and on and on. Well, now we're in the cleansing of the ice age. We're literally, it's really, if you really pay attention every day and you read Road and Track magazine, Car and Driver, Motor Authority, Auto Week, if you just go into general, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, Reuters, if you just stay abreast to all the different journalists and all the different information, artificial intelligence, chat GPT, the generative pre-trained transformer. Now they have chat GPT generation 4. Have you heard about this? It's just being released. Just to kind of take a time out there on the cleansing effect. Yeah, the chat GPT 4 is supposed to even be more satisfactory to the answers you want to hear or don't want to hear, I guess. They're claiming that the AI is like maybe 40% of the time it's correct or whatever. Yeah, we'll kind of go back to that here in a second. So the cleansing effect of the ice age, it's just rampant because here yesterday, I was reading an article, there's like $2.5 billion now being allocated to the public infrastructure for public space to be part of the charging stations. It's 500,000. The goal, I guess, is 500,000 charging stations. I think that's the goal or something to that extent that are going to be put in place and to help do what my electric truck right there is doing, charging off the electrical grid, off the coal plant across the way from me here. Right. So I think it's coal. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. It could be natural gas. Anyways, the whole cleansing effect is at a rapid pace, more than ever, as I talk about every day of my life, is the EV movement. The EV movement. It's incredible. It's incredible how fast now. But the biggest thing is, it's that Inflation Reduction Act has really even more so lit the fire because of the government subsidies to all this infrastructure that's going to be put in place, and that's really what's driving the urgency of companies who are taking advantage of to grab that money before some other company grabs. That's why Volkswagen is going to build the Scout factory here in South Carolina. That's why, in some ways, they're saying that they're going to build a battery plant in Canada. In some ways, they're still going to get that tax incentive or something. I don't really understand that language. Somebody else may understand that more, but here it is. Here's the cleansing of the ice age. More than ever, we're witnessing. For me as an individual, when you read these car articles, it's just the constant advertising of the next newest EV vehicle. It just seems like the real talk of the ice age. It's still there. I mean, the Mustang and other products are still in the market, the ice age, but the dominant conversation is EVs. It's dominant. It's unbelievable. It's just it's rampant. And I just think to myself on how, boy, we're in the time that we're truly in a society today. I think that we're in the cleansing of everything. I mean, are we in the cleansing of everything that's around us? Where it's from the electrical vehicle status to the woke status to the political agenda status. I mean, it just seems like that more than ever, you as an individual are looked at, and if you haven't cleansed yourself of your sins that are associated with maybe the way you look or where you came from, then you're not accepted. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like more than ever, we're being labeled as individuals more than ever when I thought we were supposed to all be one. I mean, wasn't that kind of like the United States? We're united as one, but it seems like we're divided more than ever as one. And you go to Twitter. If you go to Twitter, you just see so much stuff that you really do. And the downside is you don't know what's real and what you just don't know. It's short clips of videos, and you just see violence, and you have to wonder. It's like, but what's the whole story? There's got to be more to this than somebody doing physical harm to somebody else just out of the blue. So it's a narrative. Even so, for Twitter, for Elon Musk, even he claims he's trying to keep the truth as best he can. But I would have to honestly say there's a lot of false and misinformation content on Twitter that can mislead you to think that this is going on, but which it really isn't. Just like the cleansing of Russia and Ukraine. I mean, you try to grasp that on what is the cleansing of Ukraine. I mean, what is I mean, I've talked about it many times. Who here can really grab hold of the narrative? I mean, you're hearing. Do you believe that the Zelensky is like shutting down the Orthodox Christians? I mean, do you believe that he's shutting down religion over that country or something with a Christianity? Is that factual? I don't know. But you see these type of posts, this type of information, and so then you see Nazi flags, but then somebody says, "But that's a Russian, German." Yeah, well, it is a German, but that's a Russian that's just portraying to be Ukrainian. So once again, what's being accomplished out of the mankind's perception that we're cleaning things up. But are we? Just like electric vehicles. I mean, I think so many people here watch my channel all agree that to think that the electric vehicle is a clean, the clean of the clean, and we just all know that it's too in depth to sit there and try to explain to an individual that is fixated on Greta Thunberg, Thunberg, whatever the heck that like girl's name is, or daddy brainwashed her, to understand that, how the green vehicles come to be didn't come from just being, a green leaf and it materially, miraculous material item pops in front of you and it runs off of the green leaves, right? You have a little green, fig icon in your car when you go to that echo mode. Yeah, who hasn't seen that, right? So I just think to myself today, more than ever, what's driving the cleansing effect? Isn't that kind of what's going on? I mean, does it seem like the professors of the country are wanting to just do the cleansing effect to get rid of the country as it is because they feel it was such a devious, things were done to accomplish to get this country where it is between the slaves and the Indians and and the list goes on and on and on. But it's like you just want to look at these guys and go, but what country? I mean, what country does Venezuela? Is China? Is Africa? Is Russia? Let's see here. Is Iran, Iraq? I mean, I'm just off the tip of my tongue. I'm just saying. Australia. I mean, the Netherlands are taking the farmers' land and to make it so it's greener, safer for the people. I mean, it's like where's the fairness? Where's like the cleansing of the societies of fairness of how societies have evolved through the history of this world, the Roman times, the Greek times. I mean, so as a professor, how is this country really much different on, the cause and effect and the actions that it's taken to accomplish things to try to appease most or the majority? And there'll always be the minority that's not happy. But I mean, but sadly for younger people, I don't think they can kind of step back and evaluate and think about how this country that we live in, it's done far better for the most part in so many aspects than many other countries. And in modern times, there's so many other countries that are doing such devious things still. I mean, so you just think, wow. So it's all about the cleansing effect, right? So now, talking about the Chat GPT-4 I tell you, if you read, I guess I'm going to have to sign up for that damn thing. But I just think it's such... the plagiarism. It's plagiarism. I mean, if you start reading, there's people that have YouTube channels, that apparently feed like children's books content, children's reading content. Well, these people have figured out how they can go to this Chat GPT, this generative pre-trained transformer, and it can create its own book for your YouTube channel. And now you look like Mr. or Mrs. Special on, being the Harry Potter of the day. What's the lady's name? I mean, so it's like, but isn't that borderline kind of plagiarism that you're asking the computer to give you all this content that's coming from somebody else's content, but it's spread out through so many other people's content? Is it copyright? I mean, is it a copyright infringement? I mean, where are we going with this Chat GPT? And how people are using it. There's articles now. People are using that to create like their advertising and their other information. Oh wow, I'm so fixated on myself. Yeah, right. I didn't even go to the Fox Business News because it looks like the market. Yeah, it looks like the market. Is it a cleansing of the stock market right now? Are you witnessing today what's going on? Does the Fed, does somebody step in and turn off and shut down the trade market today? Looks like it's off to a bumpy start. I mean, it's looking like it's down like 600, 700, 800 points. And I think, let me get on here right now and see what it's saying. But anyways, so, the artificial intelligence, is it going to be... I mean, so there's people out there that are talking about how they're going to be able to cut their expenses massively, and the amount of work they'll have to put into themselves to create so many things that's going to help their business. And I just think, right now the market's down 600 points on the Dow. Wow. Yeah, is it cleansing? If you read about this SVB, so 3 banks, Signature Bank, and another not really called bank. 3 banks the last week have all gone bust. But you start reading about where the money. So apparently, SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, they didn't loan, they gave BLM like 73, close to $74 million. Yeah, so there's so many. You just read the different people that are weighing in on what's going on that have been personally affected. It's all about the technology sector for sure. I mean, no doubt in mind, is so much about the green agenda, the artificial intelligence. I mean, so incredible how I talked about yesterday and how the money's being invested in that bank. The people knew that they would take those monies and invest them in their business ideas. So many venture capitalists and venture businesses, it was a no-brainer. Hey, let me share a story with you. You can go, borrow $1 million, $10 million from, you can go put money in that bank. But in return, that bank is going to give you a loan to help grow your business. And in return, that bank is going to invest in your technology markets. So it's like a pat on the back for each person. And that's why I think the markets are being rattled, because a lot of people pulled out. And as I said yesterday, the Fed steps in and guarantees everybody their money's safe. Well, people aren't listening. They're continue to take the money out, and now the Fed and others are saying, "Hey guys, hey everybody, stop! Don't your money's safe. Don't continue to pull out of the bank, because they're just transferring it from the Silicon Valley Bank to J.P. Morgan, to Bank of America, to Wells Fargo, and so they're just transferring all the monies to different banks. But these banks don't have the same personalities, relationships, where you're going to get those favors done for you, because apparently this bank was doing favors for people of mortgages, commercial loans. And that's what I say yesterday. If you watch my channel, I was really saying it's like it's a no-brainer what's going on here, why that bank was growing by leaps and bounds and had such heavy deposits, is because it was a pat for a pat. You were literally enriching a bank to, in so many ways, enrich you as well, because of how they used the money and how they gave you money to go create money for yourself, but also for you to take advantage of putting money, investing in their stock as well. I mean, just incredible. Very smart. I mean, I give people the credit for, man, I tell you, for me, I just wish I was more of a market guy 10 years ago, and I took my money and I invested into Tesla, invested into Amazon, I invested into Apple, I would have invested into so many different sectors of the market, and I would have made my millions. I really would have. I would have made my millions through that, instead of being the car addict guy that just is fixated on buying cars all the damn time. Yeah, that's my addictions. That's my challenge in life. Yeah, and how does that last forever? And yeah, look at the value of my cars and the money I've tied up in them compared. I took all the money that I tied up in my cars and put it in the markets. But in all sincereness, I was, here's the thing, for me, I was like, if that stock market ever hits 20,000, I'm definitely jumping in. Does anyone remember Bank of America being down like 20 cents a share? And now it's like $30, $34 a share. Does anyone remember all these stocks that went to nothing back in 2009 and 10? Oh my gosh. Wow. I just think, wow, I should have bought Bank of America stock. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you just put $1,000 in stock in that, and then that grows to $30 a share, I mean, then let's go. And that's what I think today, more than ever today, I think so much wealth over the last 10 years has been created and accumulated because of the stocks. The stocks. It's just insane. If you played your stocks right, you'd be a millionaire. $1,000, $10,000. There's no doubt in my mind, if you played those correct investments, you'd have made $1 million. You'd have $1 million or more in an account to retire. I've always have said, if you can get $3.5 million, but I think that number today probably is more like $4 or $5 million. But I would say if you had $3.5 million set aside, you're probably good. You probably can, if you're invested correctly, but in today's market, I wouldn't say that would work as well today as it did in the past. But you go back, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, $3.5 million, you could live off that money making $100,000 a year without even touching or, lowering that money. I'm no investment, guy by any means, but that's just my basic gut instinct and common sense to tell me, and $3.5 million in the market, and what it could get a return for you. And I would think be 70 grand, 80 grand, maybe 100 grand. Maybe, we had some really good years there. That dial got close to 40,000, close to 38,000. So now we're at 31.7. So, it hit 28, 29. But anyways, I just wanted to share my continued ideas and views, and that's all. I just like to make it more conversation, just think out loud. And this Chat GPT-4, that's the latest, greatest thing for your plagiarism. And yeah, do I start using it? And like I said before, who's going to use it for the playing the lotto? I mean, I'll be amazed if you don't hear the stories of the people that are. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind how these governing bodies, state agencies, going to handle when the lottos just get win, more. They're paying out more than they're getting coming in. Not really. It doesn't ever work that way, because all lottos are is just numbers. It's an algorithm. That's all it is. All right, everybody, I'm going to leave it at that. I got a really busy day. Got to get going. So, hey, once again, appreciate your attention if you watch me, and appreciate the support. And what are we doing next? I don't know. I do know, but anyways, I'll keep that to myself. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. God bless. Stay safe.